The housekeeper's hands were shaking so badly she had to set down the towels. Inside the wardrobe of Villa 7, a $2,400 per night honeymoon suite in the Maldives, she just found a black waterproof case wrapped in duct tape. Heavy and locked. The kind of thing that doesn't belong in paradise. When security finally cracked it open at 8:12 a.m., they found surgical zip ties. 20 of them. Industrial duct tape. Latex gloves still in the box. And a laminated map of the entire resort, every staff entrance marked in red ink, every security camera angle noted, tide schedules, boat departure times. This wasn't luggage. This was a blueprint. The couple who'd checked into this villa 3 days ago were celebrating their one-year anniversary. Mr. and Mrs. Leandro Moreau. He was charming, tipped too much, smiled at everyone. She was quiet, always watching, hands always cold even in 32-degree heat. By 8:29 a.m., management sealed the room. By 8:47 a.m., they realized the husband was missing. And by 9:15 a.m., when they checked the villa's private ladder leading down to the ocean, they found wet footprints going only one way. Her sandals were still by the door. Both pairs. Her phone was gone. Her passport was gone. But she hadn't left the island. Because you can't leave an island when you're dead. The question nobody could answer, standing on that teak boardwalk, staring at turquoise water that suddenly looked like a crime scene, was this. How do you escape from an island surrounded by water when every boat is tracked and every seaplane is logged? Leandro Moreau had an answer. And what staff found in that villa safe 3 hours later would prove he'd been planning this murder for 7 weeks.
7:48 a.m. Vaccaro Island, Ba Atoll, Maldives. Rifka Ahmed has been cleaning over-water villas for 6 years. She knows what tourists leave behind. Sunscreen smeared on marble. Sandy footprints. Wine glasses with lipstick stains. Sometimes pills they forgot to hide. Once, a wedding ring deliberately placed on the nightstand. But she's never seen this. Villa 7 is one of the honeymoon suites, the kind that costs $2,400 a night and comes with a butler, a private infinity pool, and a glass floor panel where you can watch stingrays glide beneath your bed. It's accessed by a narrow teak boardwalk, completely isolated from the main island. One camera at the entrance. Total privacy after that. The couple checked in 3 days ago. Mr. and Mrs. Leandro Moreau. Portuguese. Anniversary trip. The husband tipped her $50 just for bringing extra towels. Smiled too much. The wife barely spoke, but Rifka noticed her hands, always cold, even in 32-degree heat. This morning, the do not disturb sign is gone. That's the signal. Rifka knocks twice, waits, uses her master key. The villa is pristine. Almost too pristine. The bed is made with hospital corners, not how housekeeping does it, tighter. No luggage visible. The coffee maker is spotless, unused. The bathroom smells like bleach, not the resort's signature frangipani soap. And the wife's sandals are still by the door. Both pairs. Rifka moves to the wardrobe. This is where guests stash things they don't want cleaned around. Passports, jewelry, prescription bottles. She's reaching for fresh robes when her hand brushes something hard wedged behind the beach towels. A black waterproof Pelican case. Heavy. Industrial grade, the kind underwater photographers use for $8,000 camera equipment. It's secured with 2 combination locks and wrapped in duct tape. Tourists don't bring cases like that to paradise. She calls her supervisor. He calls security. By 8:12 a.m., 3 staff members are standing in Villa 7, staring at what's inside. Surgical zip ties. 20 of them, still in packaging. 3 rolls of industrial duct tape. The fabric-reinforced kind that doesn't tear. A waterproof phone pouch with dark brown stains crusted around the seal. Latex gloves. Unopened box. And underneath everything, laminated in plastic, a hand-drawn map of the resort. Every staff entrance marked in red ink. Every security camera angle noted. tide schedules for the past week, seaplane departure times, boat fuel logs. This isn't luggage. It's a blueprint. By 8:29 a.m., management seals the villa. They try calling the room. No answer. They try Mr. Moreau's mobile. Disconnected. They check the resort's boat logs, the seaplane manifests, the dive center sign-outs. Leandro Moreau checked in 3 days ago with his wife. Now he's gone. And Ingrid Moreau, 38 years old, forensic data analyst from Lisbon, married 1 year, traveling on her Portuguese passport, hasn't been seen since 11:47 p.m. the night before, when a bartender watched her walk back to Villa 7 alone. Her phone is missing. Her passport is missing. But her sandals are still by the door. The question security keeps asking each other, standing on that teak boardwalk with the turquoise ocean lapping below, is this: how do you escape from an island surrounded by water? A waterproof case full of zip ties and a map of staff blind spots. In a honeymoon villa. And if that made you realize paradise can be a trap, you understand why this channel exists. Right now, someone watching is planning a honeymoon with a partner whose search history would terrify them. Your subscription helps this reach them before it's too late. If you're thinking, I'll subscribe later, remember, Ingrid thought she had time too. She thought paradise meant safety. She was murdered in the most romantic place on earth. Subscribe now. Not later. No. Leandro Moreau wasn't his real name. But we'll get to that. First, understand who Ingrid was. Because she wasn't stupid. She wasn't naive. She was one of the smartest people in any room she entered, and that's not hyperbole. It's documented fact. Ingrid Kova grew up in Lisbon's Alfama district, the daughter of a financial consultant who lost everything when his business partner embezzled 340,000 euros and fled to Brazil. She was 12. She watched her father age a decade in 6 months. Watched their apartment get seized. Watched her mother take night shifts at a hospital just to keep Ingrid in school. She studied forensic accounting at Universidade Nova de Lisboa on a full scholarship. Graduated top of her class. By 28, she was working for Portugal's tax authority, hunting money launderers who thought they were smarter than her. They never were. Her specialty: digital forensics. She could trace a cryptocurrency transaction through 17 shell companies across 9 countries and land on a name, an address, a bank account. She once took down a Lisbon nightclub owner who'd been skimming 2 million euros in VAT through fake vendor invoices. The case took her 4 months. She found the discrepancy in a single mismatched timestamp. Her colleagues called her a cacadora, the hunter. So when she married Leandro Moreau in April 2024, everyone was confused. He was charming, sure. Handsome in that weathered sailor way, sun-bleached hair, permanent tan, hands scarred from handling boat rigging. A marine ecologist who'd spent the last decade researching coral restoration in the Indian Ocean. He had 47,000 Instagram followers who watched him free dive with manta rays and deliver TED-style talks about saving reef ecosystems. He seemed perfect. But Ingrid's best friend Marta said something at the wedding that stuck with people. She looks at him like she's analyzing evidence. Leandro Moreau, or the man using that name, was 38 years old and had 3 previous identities that Ingrid never knew about. Born Leandro Carvalho in Faro, southern Portugal, to a fishing family. His father drowned when Leandro was 9. Boat capsized in a storm off the Algarve coast. They found the boat. Never found his father. That's when something broke in him. He became obsessed with the ocean. Not in a healthy way. He needed to control it, to master it, to prove it couldn't take him too. By 16, he was a certified dive master. By 20, he was leading tourist expeditions. By 25, he'd earned a marine biology degree and was working on coral research grants. But the money was never enough. See, Leandro had a problem. He was brilliant at getting people to trust him. Donors, universities, NGOs, but terrible with money. He'd secure a €200,000 research grant, then spend €150,000 on equipment he never used, boats he didn't need, trips that weren't in the budget. By 2019, he'd burned through funding from 4 different environmental organizations and was blacklisted in marine research circles. So he changed his name, moved from Faro to Lisbon, started over as Leandro Moreau, borrowed from a French researcher whose identity he'd lifted from LinkedIn, built a new Instagram brand, the rugged ocean warrior fighting climate change. The algorithm loved him, and that's how he funded his life. Crowd-funded coral restoration projects that mostly went to his rent, his boat, his lifestyle. He wasn't running a charity. He was running a con. But he needed something bigger, something that would set him up for years. He needed Ingrid. They met at a fundraising gala in March 2023. She was there auditing a non-profit suspected of fraud. He was there pitching his Ocean Foundation to donors. He saw her standing alone, analyzing the room with those sharp brown eyes, and knew exactly what she was. Smart, successful, methodical. The kind of woman who'd have savings, investments, family money. The kind of woman who'd be worth killing. He approached her with a story about saving a reef in the Maldives, how he needed just 1 more year of funding to prove his restoration model worked, how corporate polluters were trying to shut him down, how he was fighting alone. She didn't fall for it. But she was intrigued. Here's why. Her father's embezzler had used environmental charities as fronts. She wondered if Leandro was doing the same. So she said yes to coffee. Not because she liked him. Because she wanted to see the pattern. But Leandro was good. Better than her father's partner. He showed her financial statements, forged. Impact reports, stolen from real projects. Testimonials, written by himself under fake names. He played the struggling idealist so convincingly that Ingrid started to doubt her instincts. Maybe he was legitimate. Maybe she was paranoid. Maybe her father's betrayal had made her see fraud everywhere. They dated for 6 months before he proposed. Quick, but not insane. Ingrid was 37, wanted kids, didn't believe in long engagements. He proposed on a boat at sunset off Cascais, her favorite beach town. It was perfect. 3 red flags she ignored. Red flag number 1. 2 months into dating, she found a second phone in his gym bag. He said it was for international work calls, because roaming was expensive. Logical explanation. Except she never saw him use it. Red flag number 2. He insisted on a small wedding. Just immediate family, no colleagues, no big guest list. He said it was because his marine conservation enemies might crash it. Yes, he actually said this. She thought it was paranoid but sweet. Red flag number 3. He wanted to control their wedding registry money. Said he'd invest it smartly, in a mix of bonds and his foundation. She said absolutely not and set up a separate account. He smiled and agreed, but she caught him staring at her laptop when she logged into her bank portal. But she loved him. Or thought she did. He made her laugh. He cooked her octopus rice the way her grandmother used to. He listened when she talked about her father's trauma. And maybe, this is the part that haunts her family, maybe she thought she could fix him. Then, 2 months before the Maldives trip, Ingrid did what she does best. She investigated. It started with a small thing. Leandro's foundation posted photos of a new coral nursery in Sri Lanka. Ingrid reverse image searched one photo out of curiosity. It was from a 2019 Australian research project. He'd cropped the watermark. So she dug deeper. Shell companies in Panama. Fake vendor invoices. Donors who didn't exist. Grant money that disappeared into cryptocurrency wallets and resurfaced in his personal account. Leandro Moreau had stolen over €470,000. She confronted him on a Tuesday night in February. Calmly with spreadsheets. He didn't deny it. He cried. Said he was ashamed. Said his father's death had made him reckless. Said he'd pay it all back. Said he needed help, therapy, accountability. She told him she'd stay, but with conditions. He'd shut down the foundation. He'd return what he could. He'd get therapy. And she'd monitor every transaction. He agreed to everything. The next morning, he booked a surprise second honeymoon to the Maldives. She thought it was a fresh start. He thought it was a solve. If you found out your friend's fiancé had stolen €500,000 and then immediately booked a honeymoon to an isolated island, would you speak up? Leandro chose the Maldives for 3 reasons. 1. It's 1,200 kilometers from any major landmass. The Ba Atoll, where Vaccaro Island Resort sits, is reachable only by seaplane or a 4-hour boat ride. No bridges. No causeways. No way off except by scheduled transport. 2. Maldivian resorts are built on discretion. Privacy is the product. Staff are trained to never intrude, never ask questions, never disturb. Cameras monitor public areas, docks, restaurants, lobbies, but not the boardwalks to private villas. Not the villas themselves. 3. Jurisdictional chaos. The Maldives has complex laws around foreign nationals. If something happens to a tourist, it involves Maldivian police, understaffed, under-resourced, embassies, slow, bureaucratic, and international law, messy. Investigations drag for months. Perfect place to disappear someone. He'd been researching it for 7 weeks. His search history, recovered later from his laptop, showed queries like, Maldives resorts most isolated, no CCTV. How far can you swim in ocean current Ba Atoll? Maldives police response time tourist death. Travel insurance accidental drowning payout. How long does body take to surface salt water? He booked Villa 7 specifically, the furthest from the main resort, accessible only by that narrow boardwalk, 1 camera at the entrance that he could avoid by arriving at check-in when it's always crowded. He bought travel insurance 3 weeks before departure. €500,000 payout for accidental death. Ingrid didn't know. He shipped the Pelican case to the resort under a fake name, Marco Reyes Marine Research Equipment, and picked it up from the resort's mailroom claiming he was expecting dive gear. Staff didn't question it. Researchers ship equipment all the time. Inside that case wasn't just zip ties and duct tape. Later, forensics would find a waterproof bag containing €8,000 in cash for bribing boat operators, a second passport under the name Marco Reyes, Portuguese, fake, but good quality, a prepaid SIM card, a diving weight belt for holding something underwater. He'd planned this the way a marine ecologist plans a research expedition. Methodical, patient, precise. Ingrid suspected nothing. Day 1. April 14, 2024. They arrive at Malé International Airport at 2:35 p.m. Seaplane to Vaccaro departs at 4 p.m. Ingrid posts an Instagram story. A photo of turquoise water from the seaplane window. Caption: Paradise. She tags Leandro. He doesn't repost it. They land at Vaccaro at 4:47 p.m. The resort manager greets them with champagne and cold towels. A butler walks them to Villa 7. Ingrid is delighted. Leandro is scanning, counting steps, noting camera angles, checking tide levels from the deck. That evening, they have dinner at the resort's overwater restaurant. Staff remember them as affectionate. He held her hand. She laughed at his jokes. But the bartender, a Maldivian man named Rashid, noticed something. Leandro kept watching the dock, tracking which boats came and went. Ingrid texted her friend Marta at 10:22 p.m. It's beautiful here. I think this was what we needed. Day 2. April 15, 2024. They sleep in. Breakfast in the villa. Around 11 a.m., they go snorkeling off the villa's private deck. Staff see them from a distance. 2 figures in the water, bright blue fins. But here's what staff didn't see: Leandro testing something. He swims out 200 meters with the dive weight belt, times how long it takes to sink to the reef shelf, 48 meters down, then swims back. He's rehearsing. Lunch at the beach club. Ingrid orders tuna tataki. Leandro orders nothing, says he's not hungry. She notices he's distracted, keeps checking his phone. She asks if he's okay. He says he's worried about a grant deadline. She doesn't believe him. That afternoon, while he claims he's napping, she uses his laptop, password, Manta 2023, because he's predictable. She finds a folder labeled Maldives trip. Inside, maps of the resort, tide charts, photos of their villa taken weeks before they arrived, screenshots from the resort website. Why would he need maps of a resort he'd never been to? She closes the laptop. Her hands are shaking. She texts Marta at 4:16 p.m. I think I made a mistake. Marta replies, What do you mean? Ingrid types a response. Deletes it. Tries again. Deletes it. She never sends anything. That night, they have dinner in the villa. Leandro insists. Says he wants privacy, romance, just the two of them. He orders room service. Grilled lobster, champagne, chocolate cake. The food arrives at 8:30 p.m. The server, a young woman named Aisha, remembers Ingrid looked pale. When Aisha asked if she was feeling well, Ingrid said, just tired from the sun. Leandro tipped her $100 and said, We'd like complete privacy tonight. No disturbances. Aisha left. Day 3, April 16, 2024. This is the day Ingrid dies. But let's piece together what actually happened, because Leandro's story kept changing. His first story, to resort staff Ingrid went for a night swim around midnight. He was asleep. When he woke at 6 a.m., she wasn't in bed. He assumed she'd gone for a walk. Then he checked the beach. Then he panicked. His second story, to Maldivian police they'd had an argument. She was upset. She went swimming to clear her head. He told her not to, but she insisted. He fell asleep. He didn't hear her leave. His third story, to Portuguese embassy officials she'd been depressed lately, talking about her father's trauma. He was worried she might hurt herself. Maybe she swam out too far on purpose. All lies. Here's what the evidence showed. Ingrid's last digital activity was 11:47 p.m., a text to Marta that was never sent, still in drafts. He's been planning something. I'm scared. If you don't hear from me by. She didn't finish typing. At 11:52 p.m., the villa's smart thermostat recorded a sudden temperature drop, consistent with the balcony door being opened. At 12:03 a.m., a guest in Villa 5, 2 villas away, reported hearing a splash and then silence. At 12:47 a.m., Leandro was seen on CCTV at the main dock, the one camera he thought he'd avoided, carrying something wrapped in a beach towel. He's walking toward the dive equipment shed. He returns at 1:14 a.m. empty-handed. At 3:30 a.m., he's back in Villa 7. The lights are on. At 7:48 a.m., Rivka finds the pelican case. Security footage at 12:47 a.m. showed something impossible. He was supposed to be asleep, grieving, panicking. So why was he at the dock, carrying something heavy? The autopsy told the story Leandro tried to erase. Ingrid Kova didn't drown. She was strangled. The medical examiner in Malé, Dr. Ashath Nadira, one of only 2 forensic pathologists in the Maldives, found petechial hemorrhaging in Ingrid's eyes, bruising on her neck consistent with ligature marks, and fractures in her hyoid bone. She was dead before she hit the water. But there's more. Her lungs contained almost no water. When someone drowns, they inhale liquid in a desperate attempt to breathe. Ingrid's lungs were nearly dry. She was dead before she entered the ocean. Time of death: between 11:45 p.m. and 12:15 a.m., April 15th to 16th. Cause of death: asphyxiation by strangulation. The ligature marks matched the width of the zip ties found in Leandro's pelican case. Here's what investigators believe happened. Ingrid confronted him. Maybe about the maps. Maybe about the laptop. Maybe she just felt the danger in the air. They argued on the villa deck. He knew she was about to leave him. Go to the resort manager, call the police, ruin everything. So he used a zip tie. Quick, silent, effective. She fought. Her fingernails had traces of his skin cells underneath. But he was stronger, and she couldn't scream with the tie crushing her airway. She died on that deck under the Maldives stars, while other honeymooners slept 50 meters away. Then he went to work. He wrapped her body in a beach towel, the one seen on CCTV. He carried her down the villa's private ladder, the one that leads directly into the ocean, no cameras. He swam her body out 200 meters to the reef shelf, the route he'd practiced the day before. He used the dive weight belt to secure her to the coral at 48 meters deep. Deep enough that casual snorkelers wouldn't see her. Deep enough that currents wouldn't dislodge her immediately. He thought the ocean would do the rest. Decomposition, scavengers, dissolution. By the time anyone found her, if they ever did, she'd be unidentifiable. He swam back, cleaned the villa, bleached the deck, made the bed with those hospital corners because he didn't know how housekeeping actually did it. Then he packed his escape kit. Passport, cash, SIM card. He was planning to discover her missing in the morning, play the grieving husband for 48 hours while Maldivian bureaucracy spun its wheels, then disappear during the chaos. Fly to Bangkok on the fake passport. Vanish into Southeast Asia. The insurance payout would hit his account in 6 months. 500,000 euros. He'd done it. Except for one thing. He didn't count on Rifka Ahmed opening that wardrobe 7 hours early. Did you know Maldives resorts train staff to never intrude? Which can trap victims. But one housekeeper's instincts broke protocol and broke this case open. Stop. Before we get to how they caught him, you need to know what Maldivian police found when they searched Leandro's laptop. Because the Pelican case? The maps. The zip ties. That wasn't his first time. In a hidden encrypted folder, password protected, but Maldivian cybercrime unit cracked it in 11 hours. They found research files dating back 3 years. 3 women. Different names. Different countries. Same pattern. Victim number 1, Sofia Alvarez, 34, Madrid, Spain, August 2021. Marine biologist. Met Leandro at a conference in Barcelona. They dated for 4 months. He proposed. She said yes. They planned a sailing trip to the Azores. Just the two of them, his boat, 1 week. She was reported missing on day 3. The boat was found drifting off São Miguel Island. Leandro was rescued by the Portuguese Coast Guard. Delirious, claiming a storm had swept Sofia overboard. Her body was never found. The case was ruled accidental drowning. Leandro received 50,000 euros from her life insurance. She'd listed him as beneficiary 2 weeks before the trip. On his laptop, searches for Azores current patterns. How long until body decomposes in Atlantic? Accidental death life insurance Portugal. Victim number 2, Yuki Tanaka, 31, Tokyo, Japan, March 2022. Data engineer. Met Leandro through a marine conservation nonprofit she donated to. They dated long distance for 6 months. He proposed. She was wealthy. Family owned a tech company. They planned a honeymoon to Palau. Remote. Beautiful. Perfect for diving. On day 5, Yuki didn't return from a solo dive. Leandro said she went down without him because he was sick. Her body was found 3 days later, tangled in reef at 60 meters. The dive computer on her wrist showed she'd run out of air, but her tank gauge showed she'd started the dive with a full tank. Someone had tampered with her regulator. The investigation went nowhere. Leandro left Palau before police could question him extensively. He claimed grief, said he couldn't stay. Yuki's family received 30 million yen, about 200,000 euros, from insurance. Leandro had managed to get himself named as secondary beneficiary, in case her parents were deceased. They weren't, but he argued for a split. He got 10 million yen. On his laptop, searches for Palau dive sites deepest, scuba equipment sabotage undetectable, Japan inheritance law foreigner. Victim number 3, Ingrid Kova, 38, Lisbon, Portugal, April 2024. Forensic data analyst. Met Leandro at a fundraising gala. The smartest target yet, and nearly the one who caught him. She'd actually started investigating him weeks before the Maldives. Police found her personal laptop at her Lisbon apartment. She'd been building a case file. Screenshots of his fake projects, financial discrepancies, timeline of his identity changes. She'd even found Sofia Alvarez's obituary. She'd noted the similarity. Ocean death, insurance payout, grieving fiancé. But she didn't have proof of murder. Just suspicion. She made one mistake. She didn't tell anyone. Not Marta. Not the police. She thought she needed more evidence first. She thought she had time. On Leandro's laptop, in that same encrypted folder, was a document titled unsolved.docs. It was a step-by-step guide. His own manual. Step 1. Target women with money and no close family scrutiny. Step 2. Use marine/travel romance angle. Appeals to adventurous types. Step 3. Propose fast. Plan remote honeymoon. Step 4. Ensure location has weak police infrastructure. Step 5. Make it look like ocean accident. Body lost at sea is ideal. Step 6. Insurance payout plus her assets. Step 7. Disappear into new identity. Step 8. Wait 18 months. Repeat. Leandro Murr3r wasn't just a killer. He was a serial killer who weaponized paradise. Stop. If you're still here after learning Ingrid was his third victim, you're different. Most people click away because this makes them uncomfortable. But you're still watching, which means you pay attention, you recognize patterns. Hit subscribe because this community needs people like you who don't look away. Share this because the algorithm suppresses uncomfortable truths. Your share could reach someone living this exact situation right now. The subscribe button costs nothing. Staying silent? That could cost someone everything. Now, how did he escape an island? Because here's the problem. At 8:30 a.m. on April 16th, when resort management locked down Villa 7, they also locked down the island. No seaplanes could depart without passenger manifests checked. No boats could leave without captain verification. Every guest was accounted for except Leandro. The Maldivian police arrived by 10:15 a.m., a team of 4 officers from Malé, led by Superintendent Ahmed Sharif. This was the biggest case he'd handled in a decade. Tourist murders are rare in the Maldives. The tourism industry is 30% of GDP. When something goes wrong, everyone panics. They searched the island. All 47 villas. The staff quarters. The equipment sheds. The kitchen. The spa. Nothing. They checked boat logs. Every vessel was accounted for. Dive boats, fishing boats, supply boats, inter-island shuttles. All logged, all clean. They checked seaplane manifests. Only 2 departures that morning, both full of verified guests flying back to Malé. How do you vanish from an island? The answer was horrifyingly simple. You don't leave. You hide. At 2:47 p.m., a maintenance worker named Hassan was checking the resort's desalination plant, the facility that converts seawater to drinking water, located in a concrete building at the far edge of the island, away from guest areas. He heard breathing. Inside a storage room, behind PVC pipes and chlorine drums, was Leandro Murr3r. He'd been there for 6 hours. His plan: wait until nightfall. Bribe a supply boat captain during the chaos. Slip off to a neighboring atoll. Use the fake passport to fly out from a smaller airport. But he didn't count on the lockdown being absolute. When Hassan found him, Leandro tried to run. He made it 11 meters before 2 police officers tackled him into the sand. In his backpack, the fake passport, the cash, the SIM card, and a handwritten note that said, "I'm sorry. She was going to destroy me. Not she was going to leave me. Not she was going to expose me. She was going to destroy me." Even in his confession, he made it about himself. When did you last check on a friend whose relationship moved too fast? The evidence came together fast because Ingrid had done half the work before she died. Her laptop in Lisbon contained 47 pages of notes. Financial fraud. Fake identities. Sofia Alvarez's name circled in red. A timeline of Leandro's lies. Portuguese police sent it to Maldives authorities within 36 hours. Interpol matched Leandro Moro to Leandro Carvalho to 2 other aliases, Marco Reyes and David Correa. All the same man. All Portuguese nationals. All fake except the original. Spanish police reopened Sofia Alvarez's case. They found Leandro's boat logs from 2021. He'd researched the exact coordinates where her body would have drifted based on currents. He'd known where not to look when Coast Guard asked him. Japanese police re-examined Yuki Tanaka's scuba equipment, still in evidence. A marine forensics expert found microscopic scratches on the regulator's O-ring, consistent with it being loosened and retightened. Someone had sabotaged it to leak air slowly. And the digital evidence was damning. His search history wasn't just incriminating. It was a confession. How to break hyoid bone without bruising saltwater decomposition rate human body. Countries with no extradition treaty Portugal. How much does staged drowning insurance investigation cost? His phone's GPS placed him at the dock at 12:47 a.m., exactly when CCTV caught him. His credit card showed he'd purchased the dive weight belt 2 weeks before the trip, at a shop in Lisbon, not the Maldives. But the single detail that destroyed his defense? The villa's smart thermostat. It recorded temperature fluctuations throughout the night. At 11:52 p.m., the temperature dropped 4 degrees Celsius, consistent with the balcony door opening. At 12:03 a.m., it spiked 2 degrees, consistent with the door closing quickly. At 1:14 a.m., it dropped again. At 1:22 a.m., it returned to normal. His lawyer argued Ingrid could have opened the door herself. But combined with the CCTV timestamp, the autopsy, and his own presence at the dock, the thermostat data created a timeline he couldn't escape. The Maldives doesn't have capital punishment. Leandro was charged under Section 88A of the Maldivian Penal Code, premeditated murder. But there was a problem. Ingrid was Portuguese. Leandro was Portuguese. The crime involved international insurance fraud, multiple countries, and a serial pattern. Portugal wanted him extradited. Spain wanted him for Sofia's murder. Japan wanted him for Yuki's murder. The Maldives wanted to prosecute first, show the world their justice system works, protect the tourism industry's reputation. It took 4 months of diplomatic negotiations. In the end, the Maldives prosecuted first, then extradition to Portugal, then Spain, then Japan. He'd spend his life in courtrooms. Before I tell you what happened to Leandro, understand this: Ingrid did things right. She investigated. She documented. She kept evidence. But she didn't know one crucial fact. She didn't know he'd killed before. She thought she was dealing with a fraudster, not a serial killer. This is why we exist, to turn tragedy into education. You've learned, research your partner's past relationships, never travel to remote locations with someone you're investigating, and tell someone if you feel unsafe. Now make it count. Subscribe so you never miss these warnings. Share so her story reaches someone who needs it today. Comment red flags you spotted. Your observation might save someone. Ingrid can't speak anymore, but her story saves lives through you. Maldives trial September. The trial lasted 11 days. Leandro's defense attorney, a Maldivian lawyer named Ibrahim Rashid, appointed because Leandro had spent all his money on fake passports and couldn't afford private counsel, tried 3 strategies. Strategy number 1. Accidental death. Ingrid went swimming, got caught in a current, panicked, drowned. Leandro was asleep and didn't hear her leave. Prosecution response. The autopsy. Strangulation marks. Dry lungs. Hyoid fracture. The medical examiner testified for 2 hours, showed photos that made 3 jurors cry. Defense couldn't counter it. Strategy number 2. Suicide. Ingrid was depressed about her father's trauma, felt guilty about investigating her husband, took her own life. Prosecution response. The unfinished text to Marta. I'm scared. People who are suicidal don't text friends about fear. They text goodbyes. And you can't strangle yourself with zip ties. Defense abandoned this quickly. Strategy number 3. Reasonable doubt about premeditation. Maybe they argued he lost his temper. It was a crime of passion, not planned murder. Prosecution response. The Pelican case. Shipped to the resort 2 weeks early. Maps. Tide charts. Insurance policy bought 3 weeks before the trip. Searches for how long until body decomposes. His step-by-step manual for killing women. This wasn't passion. This was procurement. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty. Premeditated murder. The judge, a woman named Ashath Shan, one of only 3 high court judges in the Maldives, sentenced him to life imprisonment without possibility of parole for 25 years. But she said something during sentencing that made international headlines. You chose the Maldives because you thought our beauty would hide your brutality. You thought our small size meant small justice. You were wrong. Ingrid Kova was a brilliant woman who deserved a lifetime of happiness. You gave her terror and death. You do not get to enjoy another sunrise over the Indian Ocean. You do not get to feel sand under your feet. You will spend your life in concrete, as you left her in the ocean. He showed no emotion. Ingrid's mother, who'd flown from Lisbon for the trial, stood up in the gallery and said in Portuguese, Meu amor, você está livre agora. My love, you are free now. Leandro was transferred to Mafushi Prison, a maximum security facility on a small island south of Malé. It's where the Maldives keeps its most dangerous inmates. Drug traffickers, gang members, murderers. He's in a cell with 3 other men. No ocean view. No privacy. No marine biology. Just concrete, heat and time. Portugal extradition, June. After serving 9 months in Maldives, Leandro was extradited to Portugal under a treaty agreement. He faced charges of fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit murder in Sofia Alvarez's case. Portuguese prosecutors built their case on his laptop files and financial records. The trial was faster, 6 days. He was already convicted of murder elsewhere, so the fraud charges stuck easily. Guilty on all counts. Additional 15 years. Sofia Alvarez's sister, Carmen, gave a victim impact statement. For 3 years, I thought my sister drowned in a tragic accident. I mourned her. I blamed the ocean. Then I learned the ocean didn't kill her. You did. You took her from us and made us grieve twice. Once for her death, and once for the truth. Leandro is currently in Estabelecimento Prisional de Monsanto, a high-security prison in Lisbon. He'll remain there until 2040, then return to the Maldives to finish his sentence. If he survives that long. He's not popular in prison. Inmates don't like men who kill women. He's been attacked twice. Once in the cafeteria, once in the yard. Guards intervened both times, but they're not always fast. Spain and Japan. Spain is still building its case. The Azores incident happened in Portuguese waters, so jurisdiction is complicated. But Spanish prosecutors want him charged as an accessory because Sofia was Spanish and he defrauded her family. Japan has issued an international arrest warrant but is waiting until after his Portugal sentence. Yuki Tanaka's family has been advocating loudly. They want him tried in Tokyo, where murder convictions carry harsher sentences. He'll likely die in prison, shuffled between countries like evidence in a case that never closes. Vaccaro Island Resort, and dozens of other Maldivian resorts, implemented new security protocols after Ingrid's murder. CCTV now covers all boardwalks to private villas, not just entrances. Staff check-ins are mandatory every 24 hours for overwater villas, even with "Do Not Disturb" signs. Panic buttons installed in all honeymoon suites, directly connected to security. Background checks required for all guests booking extended stays in isolated villas. The Maldives Tourism Board issued a statement. "One man's evil will not define our nation. We honor Ingrid Kova's memory by ensuring no visitor ever suffers in silence again." Tourism dropped 11% in the months after the trial. But it's recovering. Paradise is profitable and people have short memories. Marta, Ingrid's best friend, started a foundation called the Hunter Project, named after Ingrid's nickname at work. It teaches women digital forensic skills to investigate partners who exhibit financial red flags. Free courses. Free resources. Over 12,000 women have taken the training so far. 3 of them discovered their partners were involved in fraud. 2 discovered secret families. 1 discovered an active warrant. All of them left before it was too late. Marta said in an interview, "Ingrid taught me that love doesn't mean ignoring evidence. She investigated because she loved herself enough to demand truth. We teach women to do the same." Ingrid's mother donated her daughter's entire estate, Euro 127,000, to a marine conservation charity. Not one affiliated with Leandro. A legitimate one. She said, "Ingrid loved the ocean. She shouldn't have died there. But maybe her memory can protect it." Sofia and Yuki. Sofia Alvarez's body was never found. Her family held a memorial service in Madrid in 2025, finally able to grieve properly. They scattered her favorite flowers, sunflowers, into the Atlantic. Carmen Alvarez is now an advocate for stronger international protections for tourists. She's lobbying the EU to create a database tracking accidental deaths of travelers, looking for patterns. She's found 12 cases since 2015 that match Leandro's pattern. Different men. Same method. Ocean deaths. Insurance payouts. Vanished suspects. She believes there are more men like Leandro out there, and she's hunting them. Yuki Tanaka's family filed a civil suit against the Palau dive operator who rented Leandro the equipment. They won. The operator now requires certification checks and equipment inspections after every rental. Her father said, "We cannot bring Yuki home, but we can make the water safer for the daughters who come after her." Here's what Ingrid's case teaches us, and it's not what you'd expect. You'd think the lesson is watch for red flags, or trust your instincts. Those matter, sure. But the real lesson. Intelligence isn't armor. Ingrid was smarter than almost everyone she met. She had investigative skills, financial expertise, a suspicious mind honed by trauma. She saw through Leandro's lies. She documented evidence. She was doing everything right. And he still killed her. Because the problem wasn't that she didn't know enough. The problem was that she was alone with the information. She didn't tell Marta what she'd found until it was too late. She didn't go to the police with her suspicions. She didn't cancel the trip when every instinct screamed danger. She thought she could handle it herself. That's the trap. We're taught to be self-sufficient, to not overreact, to gather all the facts before making accusations, to give people chances. But some people don't deserve chances. Some people are already planning your death while you're planning to save the relationship. The red flags Ingrid saw, and we should recognize. Fast-tracked intimacy. Proposal after 6 months when you're approaching 40 isn't necessarily a red flag on its own. But combined with isolated wedding plans and financial control attempts, pattern. controlled information, second phone for work, small wedding to avoid enemies, not wanting you to meet old friends. These are isolation tactics disguised as quirks. Financial pressure, wanting access to your accounts, your registry money, your assets, especially after you've already caught them lying about money. Immediate romantic gestures after confrontation. She confronts him about fraud. He books a surprise honeymoon the next day. That's not reconciliation, that's distraction. Research that doesn't match the story. Maps of a resort he's never been to. Tide charts. Insurance policies. If their preparation for your trip feels more like reconnaissance than vacation planning, trust that feeling. They isolate you under the guise of romance. Let's go somewhere remote, just us, total privacy. Sounds romantic. Can be deadly. If you recognize these patterns in your relationship, tell someone. Not just anyone. Tell someone who will believe you and act. A friend who won't say, maybe you're overreacting. A family member who'll help you leave. A domestic violence hotline. A lawyer. Document everything. Screenshots, photos, recordings if legal in your area, financial records, emails. Store them somewhere they can't access. Cloud storage with a password they don't know. Don't confront them alone, especially not in isolated locations. Ingrid confronted Leandro in a villa surrounded by water, miles from help. He killed her because he could. Leave before the trip. If you're planning travel with someone you're investigating, cancel. Lose the deposit. Lose the relationship. Don't lose your life. Trust the fear. If your body is telling you something is wrong, heart racing, can't sleep, constantly vigilant, that's not anxiety. That's survival instinct. Listen to it. Paradise doesn't mean safety. The Maldives is beautiful. So is the Azores. So is Palau. So are 1,000 other places where women have died at the hands of men they loved. Beauty doesn't stop violence. Isolation enables it. The ocean didn't kill Ingrid Kova. Leandro Moro did. But the silence she kept, the evidence she didn't share, the trip she didn't cancel, the help she didn't ask for, that silence gave him the opportunity. Don't be silent. If this story made you think of someone you know, a friend whose boyfriend moved too fast, a sister whose fiancé controls her money, a coworker whose husband researches things that don't make sense, reach out. Send this video. Send a text. Have the uncomfortable conversation. Ingrid's friend Marta said, "I wish I'd asked more questions. I wish I'd pushed harder when she said she was scared. I thought she'd tell me when she was ready. She never got the chance. Don't wait for someone to be ready. Ask now." One more thing. Leandro's _plan.docs file contained a line that investigators can't forget. Step 8. Wait 18 months. Repeat. He was planning to do this again. After Ingrid. After the insurance money. After the grief performance. He'd already picked his next target. Her name was in his search history. Astrid Bergen, marine photographer, Copenhagen. Danish police contacted her in May 2024. She'd met Leandro online in March. Started chatting about coral photography. He'd been planning to visit Copenhagen in August. She had no idea he was married. No idea about Sophia or Yuki. No idea about the Maldives. When police told her, she threw up. She's alive because a housekeeper opened a wardrobe 7 hours early. Think about that. One woman's instinct to check a locked case saved a life that hadn't been targeted yet. Rifka Ahmed doesn't work at 3r Resort anymore. She's been promoted to head of housekeeping at a larger property in Malé. She's trained 200+ staff on what to look for. Not just cleanliness, but danger. Locked cases. Maps that don't belong. Zip ties in honeymoon suites. She saved Astrid Bergen without ever meeting her. You can save someone too. Pay attention. Speak up. Share this story. Ingrid Kova was a hunter who tracked fraud for a living. She hunted the wrong man, and he killed her for it. But her story is still hunting. It's hunting for the women who need to hear it. The ones planning trips with men who search for tide charts. The ones whose partners bought insurance policies they don't know about. The ones texting "I'm scared" to friends and deleting it before sending. If that's you, don't delete it. Send it. Tell someone. Leave. Ingrid can't anymore. But you still can. Final note. Leandro Moreau is 40 years old. He'll be eligible for parole in the Maldives in 2049, when he's 65. Sofia Alvarez was 34 when she died. She'd be 37 now. Yuki Tanaka was 31 when she died. She'd be 34 now. Ingrid Kova was 38 when she died. She'd be 39 now. He took decades from them. Don't let him or men like him take decades from you.